Well, thank you to all our sponsors and to the organisers for making this M365 May conference possible. Without the sponsors and the hard work by the organisers of this conference, which is about 110 sessions over the course of the month of May, would not be possible at all. So a big thank you there. Let's move on to the next slide. It's important to recognise and acknowledge the traditional owners of custodians of the land on which this online conference is hosted, and the traditional custodians of the land where our Australian-based speakers and participants are located. We'd also like to pay our respects to elders, past, present and future. On behalf of M365 May, we'd like to welcome and acknowledge all our speakers and participants from Aotearoa, New Zealand. Thank you for supporting this hui. And one more slide, which is important to the M365 May, is our code of conduct. You'll be able to see the quick version in front of you, which I encourage you to read. But essentially, it's all about being constructive, being respectful, and helpful and being kind. You can see the full version on the M365 May website. Well, welcome everyone to this session, Creating an Intelligent Digital Workplace, bringing Microsoft 365 solutions to Microsoft Outlook. My name is James Fox, CEO of OnePlace Solutions, an Australian ISV and Microsoft Gold Partner, helping customers and partners across the APAC, North American and EMEA regions around the world to achieve more Microsoft, SharePoint and Microsoft themes. I've been involved in the industry for just over 25 years, and I've seen significant change in that time. I've always been working with the collaboration workflow technologies, and what I've noticed is that we've moved from this concept of people talking about a paperless office as it was many years ago towards a digital workplace. And this time that we're in at the moment, this I guess unprecedented time that we're in at the moment, provides a huge opportunity, and I can't think of a more exciting time where we can make a huge difference to organisations and importantly the people within those organisations as we implement digital workplace solutions. I'm just getting a bit of feedback there, Mel, if you're online. Thank you, Mel. So I'll just move forward onto the next slide and look at this session agenda for today. It's a 45-minute session. I really encourage everyone to ask questions as we go through the presentation. I'll be stopping at about the halfway mark to see whether there's any questions and hopefully be able to respond to those. And I'll also allow more time at the end of the session as well. So this session is all about the digital workplace and the journey of the digital transformation as well. So we'll take a look at well, what is the digital workplace? What are the benefits, the challenges, and what are we trying to achieve of a digital workplace? What's the overall objective? So that's an important aspect to why we're going into this digital workplace in the first place. We'll talk about connecting people, and I'll talk a lot about people, and connecting people to technology and the people to the technology processes as well. But it is really all about the people, and we'll jump into a demonstration of showing how we can connect technology solutions to people who are, and those people I'm talking about are the employees of the organisations, to connect people with those solutions in the workplace. We'll come out of the demonstration and have a prize draw, so stay tuned for that and take a photo of the QR code, and at that time I'll open a few questions up and we'll jump into the next segment, which is around personalisation of solutions in the digital workplace to create a better engagement of those solutions, and then we'll jump out of the demonstration and open up a Q&A at the end. So it's a pretty simple agenda. Let's move forward. So the first question I would like to ask everyone is, what is an intelligent digital workplace? And I think just if you can just pause for a moment and just ask yourself, what do you believe makes up an intelligent digital workplace? And I've pondered on this question for quite a while, and if I was just to share my insight and how I see it, it's a concept. It's a non-physical digital environment bringing together people, technology and processes. It's really the intersection between people, technology and processes within your organisation, which is making the digital workplace and the intelligent digital workplace. But if that's what the intelligent digital workplace is, well, what is the ultimate goal of the digital workplace? And that I would like to share my thoughts, is the ultimate goal of the digital workplace is to improve the customer process. Now, when I talk about the customer process, I'm talking about the external customer. Okay, you may think of your customer as your internal employees if you're in the IT department, but what I'm talking about here is your external customers. In business, we all have customers of different sorts. And without customers, we wouldn't have a business. So we need to look after our customers. And the ultimate goal I see of a digital workplace is not only to help our employees, the people in the organisation, connect to technology and processes, but ultimately to help our customers and the customer process so we can achieve more with our customers and look after and service our customers better. So that's the ultimate goal. So the intelligent digital workplace, I really feel that we're just at the beginning. I mean, in the old days, it was talking about a paperless office and moving paper to digital. Well, I think a digital workplace is much, much more than that. And certainly an intelligent digital workplace is much more than that, because you're adding context to information. You're adding much more smarts to that information to create an intelligent digital workplace for which we can do things that we would otherwise not be able to achieve. And I'll talk more about the intelligent aspect of the digital workplace later on in the presentation. One of the interesting things here is digital transformation, and where does digital transformation fit when it comes to a digital workplace? Now, it's just last week, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella made a comment at the quarterly update of the Microsoft market conference. He mentioned that we've seen 2 years worth of digital transformation in 2 months. Now, we're in unprecedented times, very challenging times for many organisations. So you can just imagine that 2 years within 2 months of digital transformation. So that's some journey that many organisations have been on in this last 2 months. People working from home for the last 6 or 7 weeks or maybe longer. And that may be the case for a little while longer just yet. So digital transformation is the journey. That's how I see it. It's a journey of getting from one point to another point. And the outcome, or the destination as you might call it, is the digital workplace. So it's the digital workplace is the destination. Now, there is no one journey and there is no one destination. Every business is different. Every business has a different starting position. Every business has different constraints. Every business has different requirements, have different types of customers, and maybe just different objectives. But hopefully the digital workplace and the benefits that you're getting from that, ultimately helping the customer process, but are also helping the people within the organisation intersect with that technology solutions and the processes much better. I would like to also share my thoughts is that the digital transformation never stops. It's continuous. When you look at transformation all the way from agriculture, industrial, information age, and then talk digital transformation, it just does not stop. It's continuous in our journey. And that's how we should look at digital transformation. It's not like we run the project and then we finish it and we've got a digital workplace. It is a continuous journey. But just because we get to a digital workplace, whatever that may mean for your business, it does not guarantee success. And it does concern me a little bit about the amount of transformation that we've had in the last 2 months, because just implementing a technology, be it Microsoft Teams or any other technology, does not guarantee success. You've still got people that need to go along for the ride. They need to understand, they need to have training, they need to understand that change. Some people are resistant to change. And that the people in the process, the people with the technology is the important factor here. And that's what I'd like to focus the session on mainly today when we're talking about digital transformation for the digital workplace. There are whole conferences dedicated to digital workplace. There are people that make their whole careers out of digital transformation. This session will be talking about the people and how we can connect people, to processes and technology. Let's just slow down a little bit here on the benefits of a digital workplace. Remembering the goal is to have a digital workplace to improve the customer process, bringing together people, technology and processes. There's many benefits: flexibility in the modern workplace, increased productivity, improved collaboration, engagement, retention, knowledge sharing, business process efficiency, information management and compliance. The list goes on. I'm sure there's many more benefits to a successful digital workplace. But for me, the most important part here is to have happy employees and happy customers. Now, I'm calling employees people here because it's people in the organisation, our biggest asset in a business. We need to make sure they're engaged with the technology, with the business processes to help the customer process so we have happy customers. And to me, happy employees, you'll have happy customers and the business will follow. You should have a good business. So that's so important to get a successful digital workplace. So it is about the people and it's a journey. that everyone's on, and it does not stop. And it's that intersection, that interplay between people, technology and processes that we're going to be looking at. Now, this is quite a big slide. Let's just slow down here a little bit. We're talking about the digital workplace, people, technology and processes. We're looking at the drivers, the challenges, the opportunities. Now, the drivers provide that better customer experience I've mentioned a few times, creating a workplace to attract and retain employees, and flexibility for employees to work remotely, have a work-life balance. I mean, these are some of the drivers for why we're putting in a digital workplace. Let's forget the challenges for a moment and look at the opportunities. Some of these I've just gone through in a previous slide, but the one I want to draw your attention to is the better customer experience. So we start with one of those drivers being the better customer experience, and we end with the opportunity or the benefit of a better customer experience. In between, going through that journey and getting to a digital workplace successfully is a number of challenges. And a lot of the time it's the people in the business, being the employees, who have to navigate this change, who have to work with the technology, have to work with the change of business processes, who are left behind. And so in these demonstrations that I'll be showing, it's about overcoming those challenges of silos of information, change in technology, process and cultures, the disjoint tools and integration between them, the seamless user experience, making sure we have a seamless user experience for people, ensuring we have solution adoption. Without adoption of solutions, we don't have success in our digital workplace. I won't be covering up other issues around security, governance and compliance and measuring success, and I'm sure there's other challenges, but the ones I'll be focusing on today are the ones you see in orange on the screen. And so with that, I'll move to the next slide here, where I'll just describe the demonstration that I'll be showing today. At One Place Solutions, we have an example here where we're helping organisations and helping people within the organisations to achieve more with their digital workplace by bringing solutions from Microsoft 365 SharePoint and Teams to where people work in Microsoft Outlook. I'll also get into the discussion in this application, in this demonstration, around moving conversations from Outlook into SharePoint, which is a better collaboration environment. I probably won't get into the debate about whether we should be living inside of Outlook or whether we should be living inside of Teams. In my belief, there is a place and time and place for Outlook, and there is a time and place for Microsoft Teams. And it's all about making it easy for the end user, for the person in the organisation, to make that choice and switch conversations if need be from one to the other. It's also important to be able to bring those solutions in Microsoft 365 SharePoint to where people work inside of Outlook. And that could be Outlook on the Windows, it could be Outlook on the web browser, it could be Outlook on the Mac, or on mobile devices. In a modern workplace, we're working on mobile devices a lot more. So let's see it in action. I'll just switch across to my, my demonstration machine here, if you're with me. First of all, what I would like to do is just give you a little bit of orientation of a project management system. So we're going to look at this project management system here, and in this project management system we have a number of projects, and we have Canyon Creek, we have Dusty Springs, we have Greenview Earthworks. If I scroll down here, we've got a few more, and there's one called Oil Ridge Water Treatment Works. And if I was to open this project and have a look at it, you will see that there's the standard project management document libraries, email correspondence libraries, and so forth. But this project register list is really just a list of all our projects in our Microsoft SharePoint implementation of a project management system. Now, this could be a legal matter management system, it could be a contract management system, a help desk system, human resources. There could be any system you build on top of the Microsoft 365 SharePoint. But in this case, it's a project management system, and we have a list of a number of projects. So what I'll do is I'll just go to the site here. If I click on the site, and that will open up the Oil Ridge Water Treatment Works. And in here you can see we have a number of document libraries, emails and documents. So if I click on documents, you'll see in here we have a number of folders. Now, of course, every organisation is going to have a different information architecture for their project management system. Some might have many team sites. Some might have one project site with many libraries. One might use document sets, others might use sites and libraries and folders. So there's many information architectures, and that comes down to the business requirements. But in this example, what I'm going to do for the demonstration is create a new folder. And I'll just call it M365 main, and I'll say folder, very imaginative, and you can see create. So So we'll start saving some content into this location. We'll access content out of this location throughout the demonstration. So here's our new folder, M365 May folder. What I would like to do now is go back to Outlook on the desktop. Now this is Outlook as you know it. And one of the things and really nice things that Microsoft has done with the Office extensibility model is allow you to extend Microsoft Outlook to add extra capabilities over and above your inbox. And that's what we've done with the One Place Mail application, is we're extending the Microsoft Outlook environment to bring the solutions from Microsoft 365 to where you work inside of Microsoft Outlook. Let's look at an example. So here I've got an email from Tom Brown, and this email has a number of attachments and the normal email text. And what I would like to do is save this email into SharePoint, Microsoft Teams, or my OneDrive locations. So what I'm allowed to do here is select what I would like to save. So it might be just an email, or I can save all the attachments. So these could be PowerPoint slide decks, Excel spreadsheets, PDF files, Word documents, and then I can select next. Now the key point here is we're not leaving our familiar environment of Microsoft Outlook. So we're not switching contexts. We're not having to go and find a location in SharePoint. We're staying where we're familiar, where we're most productive, inside of the applications we use every day, such as Microsoft Outlook. So here we have pin sites. Of course, I can pin as many sites as I like, or I have recent locations that I might have saved to, or different sites, libraries, folders, document sets, etc. So these are a nice fast way of getting to locations. Of course, I can start browsing SharePoint, and I can see here that I have followed locations. I have other locations of across SharePoint as well. Or I may be able to go to Teams and have a look at my Teams channel. I'll cover that off a little bit later. Or I can go to OneDrive and start looking at my OneDrive locations to try and encourage people to save content into OneDrive for Business, as opposed to saving it with a network drive, or even worse, onto the desktop. So here's about connecting people with the technology and the solutions without leaving Microsoft Outlook. Let's just go back here, and I'm going to search for a project, the Oil Ridge project that we just added the folder to. And here we have the Oil Ridge Water Treatment Works. And here you can see we have a document library and an email library. I'll select the document library, and we have a number of folders in here, including the M365 May folder we just created a moment ago. So what I'm going to do is save these attachments and this email into this location. But of course, for an intelligent digital workplace, we need metadata. And metadata in content allows us, in an intelligent digital workplace, to add more context to information. It's that context to information that's going to help us in our intelligent digital workplace. So it's really important that we make it easy and seamless for end users to add content, add metadata, I should say, to content as we're saving. And we can automate that, of course, in SharePoint wherever possible, and in here, where there's extra information required, the end user can simply fill out the details. So this is just a manage metadata column, and you might have date columns and different columns set up for your different content types. In this case, we've just got the one content type. Now that we're saving into a SharePoint location. It's a SharePoint site, not a team site in this case, but it's a SharePoint site, and it's in a library within a folder. But what we'd like to do is actually start engaging with this content, not by sending emails, but by starting a conversation in Microsoft Teams. So even this content is stored in SharePoint, what I'm going to do is notify a Teams channel. So I click on notify a Teams channel, and at that point, I can select a Teams channel that I would like to notify. So I'll select Contoso Marketing as an example. And then at that point, you can say, well, what channel would I like to notify? I can start typing a message, or I can start selecting a channel. So here's the channel I've created called M365 May. I created this earlier today. And I would say, hi all, please review. And you get the idea. You can add your own conversation. And what we're doing here is starting a conversation around this content and reducing the number of emails, reducing the duplicate attachments and large attachments being sent around the organization. Of course, some people may not be following this channel, so you may want to add mention some people as well. And then we can click finish. Now at that point in time, our job is done. I mean, we can get back to work inside of Outlook, start writing emails, start reading emails and doing what we need to do. Or we can hang around for the results. What I'd like to do before I show you the results inside of Microsoft Teams and the SharePoint location is just switch across to another machine, if you bear with me, a mobile device. And I have my mobile phone here. Now this could be an Outlook on iOS, or it could be an Outlook on Android phone. That's up to your preference. Here I've got Outlook on Android. So if I click on the Outlook, this is going to start my Outlook as you'd expect and going to my inbox. The important thing here is that in a digital workplace, in a modern workplace, we don't always sit at our desk. We could be working from home, we could be working from the cafe, we might be on the road just about to jump on a plane, and we are often using our mobile devices. So what I'm going to do here is select an email. I'll select the final session schedule. Let's bring it up so you can see it on the screen. And at that point in time, we have a number of attachments. We have a PDF file, we have an Excel file. And what I can do, and Microsoft's hide it away a little bit, but I'll cover it with the mouse, is this ... up at the top here. This is our extension to the Office extensibility model, or where we add solutions such as one-place mail. So if I click on that ... you'll see down here that we have the Save to SharePoint. And then what I can do is click on the Save to SharePoint, and that will bring up the similar experience to what we've just seen on the desktop, but now we're on a mobile phone. So I can select the PDF files, the Excel spreadsheet in this case, and go next. And then I can ask myself, well, where would I like to save this content to? Now, on this occasion, what I'm wanting to do is, because I'm just about to jump on a plane potentially, is I'm wanting to save it to a Teams channel. So I can select Teams, and it will show me the joined teams that I'm involved with. And once I select the joined team, such as Contoso Marketing, it will bring back the libraries, because remember, a team site is not just about channels for conversation. There is also a lot of libraries in there as well. So you can see down the bottom here, we have a number of libraries. But in this case, what I'm wanting to do is actually save it to a channel, to the Files tab on the channel. So I'm going to save it to the M365 May. So I'll actually do it with the mouse here so you can see on the icon. At that point in time, it brings it through the content type. Now, in most circumstances, a channel just only has the one content type and normally doesn't have any metadata. So I won't worry about that. But you can see the file names that we have down here. And I'm going to notify the channel. Rather than just saving the files into the Files tab, what I'm wanting to do is actually start a conversation around this. So it knows that we're in the Contoso Marketing team site. It knows that we're in M365 May because that's where we've just selected. So now it's about starting to enter a conversation. So I'll just say, please review before close of business. Sorry about my shorthand. And then click on Finish. Now, at that point in time, our job's done. We can get back to work. And if I've lost connection on my mobile phone, if I lose a battery, it doesn't matter. That information has gone back from Exchange into SharePoint, in this case a Microsoft Teams site, and we've started a conversation around that content. So let's just switch back to our other machine and have a look to see what's happening. So the first thing you'll notice from the previous example is we have the Transfer to SharePoint category button set. So what this is saying is that this email has been transferred to SharePoint. And you'll notice it's just popped in the other Transfer to SharePoint category. That was from my mobile phone. So when we're saving content, be it from Outlook on the desktop, Outlook on the web browser, maybe Outlook on the Mac or iOS or Android, it's setting the category, the Outlook category, so you can see what you've already saved to SharePoint. Now, if we have a look at the save results here for the first example, all this content has now been saved into SharePoint. Remember, the first example is not a team site. So if I look at this location in SharePoint, you will see the files all saved in SharePoint and additional metadata all captured, such as the manage metadata column. Also email attributes such as send date, receive date, who it was from, the conversation ID, all that information, that metadata, which is critical for the intelligent digital workplace, is captured. So if we switch back to the Teams channel, what I'm wanting to do is show you the M365 May channel here. And in here, as you'd expect, we have two conversations happening. We have hi all, please review, and we have an adaptive card here pointing to the content that we've saved into the SharePoint location. So this is the content we've saved to SharePoint. And in the second example we did from the mobile phone, please review before close of business. And you can see we have the email, we have the PDF file and the session schedule in Excel. And those files are sitting, and I think Tom's just replied. There you go. Tom's just replied. So now we can have a fast moving conversation in Microsoft Teams. Rather than having emails go back and forward, duplicate attachments like as Excel spreadsheet. So Teams is a much better environment for that collaboration. As I said, there's a time and place for email, there's a time and place for Microsoft Teams. It's about providing the people, the employees, with the right tools to connect to these different systems. So let's have a look at the Files tab. And here you'll see that we've got the files that we just saved into the Teams channel. Okay, what I might do now is go through one last part of the presentation of this demonstration, switch across to the web browser. Of course, certainly when we're working from home, which I know a lot of us are at this point in time, we're not always using Outlook on the web Outlook on the desktop. Sometimes we're using Outlook on the web browser as well. So when we're in here, we might be wanting to capture content as you've seen a moment ago, but a lot of the time we're wanting to access content out of SharePoint. So I see it as 3 pillars: capturing content, classifying content, and accessing content back out of SharePoint or Microsoft Teams. So the access to content is absolutely critical to people in the organization. There's not much encouragement to put information into these platforms if you can't get information back out. That's why I think it's so critical that we make it simple for end users to be able to access content back out of SharePoint, so that we can encourage this single source of truth for the content to be stored in Microsoft 365. So let's create a new email here and see this by example. So here I'm writing an email to Tom, and I'll just say, hello Tom, and I'd like to insert content from SharePoint. So down here we can extend Outlook again. So clicking on the One Place Mail app, what we can do now is present to the user different pinned locations, recent locations that I may have previously inserted from SharePoint and Microsoft Teams, or I can actually browse SharePoint, Teams, and my OneDrive locations to start inserting content. What I might do again is just search for this oil project or water project, and I'll go to Documents, and what you'll see is the M365 May folder, and as you'd expect, we'll have some content that we just previously saved into this location. So here you'll see that we have a PowerPoint slide deck, the email we saved, an Excel spreadsheet, Word document, PDF files. I'm going to save this adoption strategy, which is a PowerPoint slide deck. Now we can insert that as a link, we can insert it as an attachment as a PowerPoint slide deck, but one of the more intelligent things that I think, and this is all about the intelligent digital workplace, is being able to perform things which would otherwise take the end user more time or may not even be possible. Now in this case, it would have taken the end user a lot more time to go back to SharePoint, download that file, convert it to a PDF, and then insert it as an attachment to the email. So what we're doing here is bringing the people and the technology and the processes together to make it super simple for end users to be more productive. So here you've seen we've just inserted an attachment, and of course we could go in here and insert an attachment as a link or as a PDF as well. So hopefully that's given you a flavour of bringing people, technology and processes together. And at that point I might just jump back to the slide deck. Okay, so that's the One Place Mail app as an example of connecting people, technology and processes, regardless of which Microsoft Outlook environment you're working in, and also providing the ability to shift conversations from Outlook into Microsoft Teams where appropriate. To summarise that, let's go to my next screen. It's important that we bring solutions to where people work. And in my view, people work in Outlook, and more so in Microsoft Teams as a hub application. So let's bring the solutions from Microsoft 365 to where people work to make and minimize change for end users. This is the familiar environment that people work in day to day. So let's make that happen. If we can capture, classify content and make it easy to access content, we really are enabling a more intelligent digital workplace. It's only through this capture of content and the metadata that we can start utilizing that information to add context to information to truly create that intelligence. At One Place Solutions, our mission is to enable people in business to do more simply. And I think if we go in with that mindset when we're looking at digital workplace solutions for an organization, I think it's all about the end users to keep that simplicity. So let's move to the next slide. This is the competition that we've been running M365 May. So please take a photo of what you see on the screen here and you can enter into the competition. Let's get back on screen. And at this point in time, Mel, is there any questions that have come up and I might be able to answer before we move on to the next segment of the session?
Hi, James. No, you've been doing a great job of explaining, and at this stage we haven't had anyone ask any questions. So for those of you who are new to this, there's a Q&A icon up in the top right of your screen if you're on a phone or a laptop, and you can ask your questions there and I can find and I can read them out to James. But at the moment, James, we haven't got any.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, please ask questions as we go, and I'll make sure I allow a bit of time at the end for more questions.
Oh, hold on. One's just come through. This is from Frank. He says, does this solution automatically show access to SharePoint SharePoint or Teams, or do you have to configure what site users can see as administrator?
Oh, okay. So with the One Place Mail app, what we're trying to do is make it really easy for the end users. You have to think in the process flow of when you're in, so the One Place Mail app, we have the concept of pinned locations and recent locations. We want to keep it really clean. But when you navigate to SharePoint, you have followed locations. And of course, you search those followed locations are your followed locations from SharePoint, so they do come through, and you can add those as pinned locations in the app if you wish. You probably don't want all your followed locations as pinned locations in the context of using it in the One Place Mail app, so you can selectively do that. With Microsoft Teams, whenever you join a team, that will become up as one of your join teams as well, and so that will become available. And of course, your OneDrive for Business is all your personal locations anyway. I guess just an extension to that question maybe is everything's security trimmed. So when you're searching for locations or content, everything is security trimmed based on SharePoint.
Great, thank you. Now, we've actually had a couple of people saying that the QR code hasn't been working for them. So I'm going to contact the powers that be and see if we can make that become active, and we can potentially put that slide back up at the end of the presentation.
Sure.
Also, in the meantime, we've had Michelle asking, does this app support private channels?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Okay.
Private channels. Yes.
Great question.
I won't go into how private channels work, but yes, it's true.
Okay, fantastic. And now Chris has asked, are there any issues or loss of features with emails going into classic SharePoint libraries?
No, whether it's classic or a modern library, it's exactly the same. So the emails go in, email attributes we promote from those emails themselves into the SharePoint columns, which is important for that more intelligence later on. And any metadata you enter is the same whether it's classic or a modern SharePoint site.
Okay, great. Thank you, James. So far, it looks like we've answered all the questions so far. And like I said, I'll just find out about that QR code for later in the session.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks, Mel. Okay, so the next section on this session is around personalization for greater engagement. And I'm so passionate about this part here. It's, we can build all these beautiful solutions in Microsoft 365, but if we can just start personalizing those solutions to the end user, then we'll remove all this, I guess, noise, complexity, potential chaos, and really make it simple for end users. So it's all about personalization. And I like to think of this as delivering the right location to the right people at the right time where you work. So we're going to run in through an example of the project management system again, of showing you how to get the right locations, being the right projects in this case, but it could be legal matters, it could be a help desk system, it could be a human resources system, a contract management system. In this case, it's project management, but it's about getting the right projects to the right people at the right time and doing it systematically, so the end user does not need to go in and try and find those right projects. So we'll see that in action in a second. And really what we're trying to do is make it super simple for anyone to capture, classify and access content in Microsoft 365. Let's 2 slides before we jump into the demonstration. So here we are as Sally. We're going to be logging in as a user called Sally. Sally is a project manager in the project management office. Now, Sally's Microsoft 365 SharePoint environment is quite large. She has there's a sales area, there's a human resources area, there's a project management office area, finance, IT, and what you can see in red or magenta on your screen are all the areas that Sally is interested in. Sally isn't interested in the whole of Microsoft 365. To her, that's just a lot of noise and complexity and chaos. But Sally is interested in pricing in the sales area, is interested in the sales staff area, is interested in leave requests in HR. Finance and IT, you can see the same. And if you look at the project management office area, we have my projects and my open projects, my closed projects. So this is where I'm talking more personalization as well. Whereas the project management system doesn't need to be one size fits all. You might have a different perspective for a project manager to a program manager, or you might have obviously a different perspective from one project manager to a different project manager. In Sally's case, Sally's interested in the Microsoft project. She's not interested in Sony and the General Motors. She's not interested in some of those other projects. So let's see how this would translate to the end user inside of Microsoft Outlook. So if you keep an eye on the project management column there, and then see how we transpose that into the Microsoft Outlook on the left navigation, what we have here is a sales, HR, PMO, finance and IT, and just the locations of Microsoft 365 that Sally is interested in. not all the other noise of Microsoft 365. So now that we've got a focused area for Sally, Sally can capture content, classify content, and access content in a familiar environment of Microsoft Outlook, and therefore we're reducing this challenge of silos of information and people not sharing knowledge or sharing content for that intelligent digital workplace. Let's see it in action. So I'm going to switch across to the demo machine again. And here we have the demonstration environment. This is the Outlook where we left it last time. I'm going to switch back to the Oil Ridge project. In fact, I'm going to switch back to the project management view here and go to project register. So this is our project register. And as I said previously, we've got all our projects in here. In this case, we've got active projects. So this is a register of all the projects in the project management system. We have metadata describing these projects, and different organizations we find have different amounts of metadata. But the more metadata you have here describing your projects in your project management system, the more ways you can slice and dice the projects and really finesse how you deliver those projects to people, so getting those right locations to the right people at the right time. So here we have the project title, we have the customer, whether it's active or not, the phase, project manager, and so forth. So what I would like to show here is that we could switch to all projects. And when we go to all projects, you'll see that we have lots of projects, even more than the active ones, some active, some not active. And if I switch to my active projects, what you'll notice now is I have 4 projects: Canyon Creek Roadworks, Greenview Earthworks, and Water Drainage. So I have 4 projects. So that's a little bit of orientation. Now what I'd like to move across to is Outlook. And let's show you this in action. What I'm going to do is select a couple of emails here. And on the left-hand side, you'll see that we have what we call solution profiles on the left navigation of Outlook. So we're in the familiar Outlook environment. And now what we can do is see, well, I've got my active projects, all active projects, all these different ways of getting to different project locations. And I can start dragging and dropping emails. And if I do this to the my active projects and go copy, what you're presented with here is just the projects that you're actively involved with. I'll just sign in here. And here you've got the 4 projects. And of course, we can start drilling down into those projects. So in this case, it's the project sites. So they might have different document libraries and email libraries. But the key point is that we have 4 different projects: Canyon Creek, Greenview Earthworks, and Water Drainage. I'm going to cancel this operation and just briefly go back to this view here and go to the active projects and just scroll down a little bit so you can see the Oil Ridge treatment works. Now, each one of this project register has a column in here called project site, and this is a URL to wherever the site could be. Now, this could be different SharePoint sites, they could be team sites, they don't necessarily even need to be sites, they could be folders or document sets, but in this case, they're just SharePoint sites. So if I click on the project itself, I can navigate there and I can see this is the M365 folder that we created earlier. But if I go back to the register list, what I want to highlight here for the Oil Ridge project is that Tom Brown is the project manager. What I'm going to do now is select the Oil Ridge project and change the project manager from Tom Brown to be Sally. So if I click on Sally, enter Sally, and that's just saved. And if I close here, and I'll go back to the project register, and I'll switch to the My Active projects. And what you will see here is that we have the Oil Ridge water treatment work. So we had the original 4 plus an extra one. And imagine this is all systematically driven. So you've got a provisioning process for creating a new project sites, be it sites in this case or team sites. And we have the metadata being applied, of course, as part of the provisioning process and maintained. Now, if we switch it back to Outlook, what we can do now, if I drag and drop to the My Active projects, what we're going to be presented with now is not the 4 projects, but now the 5 projects, including the Oil Ridge water treatment works. So now I can drill down into this location and start saving into the document library and into the M365 main folder. I can complete metadata as you'd expect and save this content straight into this location. So what we've been able to achieve is keeping the end user inside of Outlook where they're familiar and bringing just the selected locations to the right locations to the right people at the right time. So here we can select an issue, and I'll just put in New Zealand again, or New York. Here we are, New Zealand, and hit done. So that's saving that content straight into that location. Before we leave Outlook and this part of the demonstration around bringing the right location to the right people and that personalization, what I might do is just open a PDF file. And because it goes, the digital workplace, of course, goes beyond just Outlook and beyond just Teams. And we use other tools, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Adobe Acrobat. We might use other PDF technologies as well. But what we need to be able to do is extend the capabilities from these applications back into Microsoft 365 as well. So here you will see that not only can you go from Outlook, but you might want to be able to save directly from Adobe Acrobat Reader or DC straight into those same locations. So here you'll see that we have favorite locations, but if I go to recent, there's the M365 May folder that we just saved to, and I'm going to save this PDF file into that location straight from Adobe Acrobat Reader in this case. I can complete the metadata. I'll just put in New Zealand again. There's a required column, so it won't allow me to save unless I complete this metadata, and hit save. And that's our job done. So conscious of time, what I might do is switch back from the demonstration machine back to the slide deck for brief. And just summarize what we've seen there around this personalization of solutions. And the first point that I'll just make is we need to enable people to engage with solutions on Microsoft 365. It just won't magically happen. So if we build the solutions on Microsoft 365, we are best to bring them to where people work, where we have that captured audience, which is what I've just said on the second point. And personalized solutions, make it simple, remove that noise, remove that chaos for end users, make it really simple for people to connect with technology and business processes. Our mission at One Place Solutions is to enable people in business to do more simply. And I think if we go in with that mindset, when we're looking at a digital workplace, we're going to help the users, the people in the business, the employees, achieve so much more. It's my view that we've only just started the journey as well. An intelligent digital workplace, I mean, it has come a long way. As I said at the start, it is a journey, and the journey does not stop. So I think it's important to recognise that we're really only at the beginnings of this digital workplace. If you look at Microsoft Graph, bringing together people, content, tasks, insights to build more intelligent solutions. So I encourage everyone to start looking at the Microsoft Graph and how we can start connecting the dots, if you wish, between people, content, tasks, and insights, so we can build more intelligent solutions. Connecting people with content and adding context, and that's an important part, is about adding context. When we're capturing metadata, when we're capturing that content, and it's not stuck in silos such as Microsoft Outlook or in your network drive or on your desktop, we're able to start bringing this content together and add context to that content. That's better knowledge sharing. Initiatives like the Project Cortex that Microsoft's working on are great examples of that. And of course, you've got other artificial intelligence opportunities in front of us around supply chain, customer success, and so much more that we can achieve with this intelligent digital workplace. So again, my name is James Fox from One Place Solutions. I hope you enjoyed the session. It's all about enabling people in business to do more simply, and I might at this point open it up for questions. And again, just very much huge thanks for all the sponsors and to the organisers for this event. Thank you.
Okay, James, so I'm just going to send you live so you're full screen so you can answer questions. And we've got one from Nicole that says, does this work with different versions of SharePoint? We are still running on-prem 2013. Okay.
So I guess talking back to the solutions of the One Place Mail, I guess what you've seen at the start there was the app on the right hand side of Outlook, and that works with Office 365 only. What you're seeing, that last part there with the One Place Mail desktop suite, which has been around for about 12 years. We have release 8, which we're working on at the moment, will be coming out this quarter, I believe. So there's some great work going on there, I have to say. That desktop suite works today in 7.x. It works in SharePoint 2010, 2013, 2016, 2019, and in Office 365. So a lot of our customers have hybrid environments. Maybe that's a transitional period, or maybe that's going to be for a lot longer. But so we're supporting with the desktop, saving both into SharePoint on premises and into Office 365 as well. But the app is 100% Office 365. It's a full SaaS cloud-based solution. Hopefully, does that answer the question?
Okay. Great. Yes, thank you. I can hear there's an awful lot of activity going on in your background with sirens and things. So, yeah, coming to get you. We haven't actually had any other questions come through. So if anyone's got anything, don't forget to put it in the panel. I have tried to chase up with the QR code, and I'm guessing that some of the organisers are actually in their own session, so I haven't got any answer from them. So I think I'm just going to have to leave that one.
Would you like me to bring it back up one more time so anyone can take it?
Yeah, let's pull it up and that's a good idea. Give it a go. Oh, let me just get back to your content then.
Okay.
So I'll send that live again.
Hopefully everyone's got that. And if anyone needs to reach out, I'll just put my contact details up there as well. I can send it through if you're having trouble. You can send me some instructions. I'll send on to anyone.
Yeah, can you please put the QR code back up and I'll see if I can get it to work. Yeah, so it says open. And no, it says it's not accepting responses right now. So I'll have to ask the organisers what we do about that. More than likely, it'll be in the recording. So I guess we just need to get them to activate that, and sometime today you can go back to the recording and scan there. I've also just had a thank you from Lena saying that this was a great session and the app looks great from Lena. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lena. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So anybody else? Thanks for okay. So Krista says, thanks for the presentation today. How does it work with multiple emails dragged and dropped into a library and metadata entry?
Sure. So we've got two solutions here. I mean, the desktop suite, you can drag and drop up to 50 emails per transaction. We capped it at 50. Of course, you can drag and drop 50 and then another 50 if you wish as well. So you can back them up, and if you close your laptop and then come back online tomorrow, they'll continue on. So it's not like you have to wait around. But when you drag and drop, say, X number of, let's say, 5 emails, for example, you can complete the metadata once, and it's applied to both the emails and the attachments. I didn't show you all the, I guess, the features of the app. It wasn't the purpose, I guess, of the demonstration. But you can streamline the capture of the metadata. So you fill out the metadata by selecting the content type, one or more content types for the destination, and then whatever columns are available for that content type, you can complete that metadata. You can copy metadata from previous items in a SharePoint location to make it easier and faster. But basically the metadata is applied to all the content, including the required columns that is respected. So for example, if you're uploading images, like say 10 images, you can make sure that all the metadata are applied, and you don't have to go back to SharePoint as a secondary action. If anyone has any questions, just go back to my contact details. I'm happy to set up a of the application itself. But I guess the crux of today's presentation as well is not just about the One Place Mail app, but it's about the possibilities of building solutions, extending these applications to Microsoft 365. So, I mean, obviously, as a sponsor, One Place Solutions as a sponsor, I've demonstrated the One Place Mail app, and it's our passion to be able to do this. But there's other applications that do just this of extending Office 365 applications to different forms, and it may or may not be Microsoft 365.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, thank you very much for sharing your contact details there. For anyone who's missed anything, or the recording will go onto the May 365 or M365 May website. I think that's happening every afternoon, so should be up by tomorrow. So if there's no one else's questions,
yes.
And anything else that you wanted to add, James?
Just a big thank you for everyone who's attended today. Hopefully it was valuable, and please reach out to help with any other questions. And thank you, Mel, for helping throughout the session as well.
No problem. Great topic. All right. Well, I think I'll just end the session there. So thanks everybody for attending.
Thank you. Bye.